Business as usual, it would seem, over on Russell Brand's YouTube channel, despite reportedly having been demonetized. The question is raised as to whether that's been reinstated, although that hasn't been reported in the media, so I suspect not. But he now seems to be publishing videos every day. Now, many people have asked me for my predictions. What do I think? Now, there's only so far I can go and say and what I really think here on Black Belt Secrets. So make sure you subscribe if you want my personal views on here. And I might throw in the odd prediction here and there. Now, as I say, there's only so far I can go with predictions so that I'm not going to jeopardize any even pending prosecution, if there is one. We don't know whether there is one. But even if it's not a live case, there is an argument as to whether the Contempt of Court Act bites if you say something that can seriously prejudice those proceedings. I don't for a moment think that what the vast majority of people are going to say is going to come anywhere close to that. Certainly not with what I'm going to say here. But there is one sort of prediction I can make, and that is that based on the reports of harassment and stalking, you might have caught my previous video where I'm talking about what harassment and stalking actually really means. First of all, it's got to be a course of conduct. So it's not just a one-off. You know, you have an argument with somebody, they report you for stalking or harassment. That doesn't count. It's got to be more than one occasion. So it's a course of conduct, but it only requires two. So, for example, if you send a message to somebody uninvited and they say, hey, stop contacting me. I didn't invite you to contact me. I don't want that. Please stop it. And that was, a message that they shouldn't expect to bear. But that's another story, whether it would actually amount to enough to form part of a course of conduct in the first place. But one alone wouldn't be enough. If they then came back to you again and did it again, and both of those are of the nature that would ordinarily be harassment, and it's a course of conduct, then that can be chalked up to harassment. Stalking is very slightly different. That is usually over a prolonged period of time, although there is no specific, even statutory or otherwise, definition of what stalking is. Many of you might remember the Alex Belfield case, and there's a lot of quirks in what stalking can amount to there. And so you can check out my videos for him over on Black Belt Barrister, my main channel. Although this channel here, Black Belt Secrets, is older. So you can check out my older library here if you wish as well. But let's get back to this. So there are reports of a second police investigation by Thames Valley Police into harassment and stalking. I don't know how this has made its way to the media, but it obviously has. Maybe the police tipped them off. Maybe someone within there. Maybe just someone heard it. Whatever. I don't know. Could even be sold to the press for all I know. But they say, Sky News reports, the others report, that these allegations, these claims, they're not really allegations yet. They are claims of new information in relation to claims of harassment and stalking. So it's not a flat-out allegation because it hasn't been particularized. But they say in the news that these date back to 2018. Now, my prediction here is that for a serious claim of harassment or stalking, there's got to have to be quite an amount of evidence. And so that would it explain why the police are saying that they're investigating it if there's sufficient information. But it would have to be chalked up to the more serious kind of stalking than the less serious, because the less serious is a summary-only offence, meaning it must be brought to the magistrates within 6 months, whereas there is no statutory time limit for harassment that causes serious fear of harm. It's the more serious. These were drafted into the legislation by the Protection of Freedoms Act. Now, if it were the less serious, then the police shouldn't really be investigating it very much. I mean, perhaps they will to make an assessment as to whether it's the more or the less serious type of stalking. But I'm not sure as to how much resources the police would put into that. If they've given the information, they should be able to assess that relatively easily. Maybe they'll take a second view. Maybe they'll even seek the Crown Prosecution Service views on that as well. But my prediction would be that it is, if this has hit the media as they are looking into it, it's more likely that they have at least claims of the more serious kind. That's not to say that that's actually happened. Now, what we're doing here is a snowball effect of what could be potentially very damaging to his reputation if it all turns out that these are just empty claims, empty allegations. They're not founded on any basis in fact. And obviously, the culmination of all of these claims and allegations has a devastating effect on his ability to earn income. Because as you know, as was reported, YouTube suspended his monetization. Now, was that correct or not? I think it's a bit harsh, to say the least. But at the same time, it's Google's platform, so they can make that choice. I've rehearsed that in other videos. Now, some people do ask, why are you focusing on Russell Brand? Well, this is news. It's got a legal angle to it. People are interested in what I have to think about it here on Black Belt Secrets. So make sure you subscribe for my personal thoughts. But there's a lot going on here. This is bigger than just these allegations and Russell Brand. This is about the modern sort of warfare of sort of pseudo criminality, in that you can be accused and labeled, and a good percentage of the population will think you are guilty and judge you even before there's a charge filed or an interview held. There's been no interview, there's no charges. So nothing really has happened apart from these allegations hitting the press. So I think this is a very, very dangerous territory we are in, whereby somebody can report these allegations or the claims that are made to the media, and that the police are investigating them, and the police might well confirm that they're investigating them. And this puts us in a very difficult situation, because somebody quite rightly said, well, what if it was you? And well, yes, quite. I mean, if somebody comes forward about anybody in the public eye and makes an allegation that hits the media, it could be complete and utter nonsense, but it's hit the media. What do you think about that? Well, my prediction is that this is going to be counterintuitive, in that I think it's going to water down such allegations. And contrary to the thought process that these allegations are not often enough taken seriously, so therefore they are now published so that people take them seriously, I think there's a long-term effect here that they may be taken less seriously, at least by some part of the population. Because if these allegations are without merit, without fact, they're not particularized, there's not enough information, there's certainly no evidence, nobody can rightly make any judgment of any kind whatsoever with any real conviction, because you simply don't know. All you know is that these allegations have been made, and all you know is that they've been printed, published, and there's been consequences. He's lost access to his monetization on YouTube. Now, for any creator that's on YouTube, if they get, let's just say that there are false allegations made against somebody in the public eye, and they lose all their monetization, or they are sacked from their position, or suspended, whatever. I think that is a devastating precedent to follow. Obviously not an authoritative precedent in the sense of the law, but it is a precedent in that, is this the way that they will go now? Is that what will happen? Will they now publish these allegations regardless of fact and basis and research? This comes back to what I said in my previous videos, that there must be, I would certainly hope, not hope that there's anything wrong, you understand, but I would hope that if they've published these things, that they have looked into it so that there is something behind it before publishing it. Because otherwise they are publishing rumors. If there's no factual basis, they're publishing a rumor. And publishing a rumor that destroys someone's reputation is a dangerous territory. And it is a very, very slippery slope and a dangerous path to go down. Those are my personal views. People have asked me for my personal views on this and a bit of a prediction. That's as much of a prediction as I can give you. It's as much of my personal opinions as I can give you, because there is nothing else to say about these cases other than it's been reported. And I think it's dangerous that it's been reported. And whilst we have the balance between free speech as against really protecting somebody's dignity and reputation and so on, many people will say, well, yes, but you can bring a defamation claim if it's all wrong. But if it's against someone that is impecunious, they have no money to pay out on any defamation claim, let alone the damages, let alone the legal fees. The legal fees are likely to be £50,000 to £100,000 for a serious defamation claim. let alone the damages. So they just won't be able to pay. I've had many clients before now that have been through the court process and simply cannot get the money because the other person just simply cannot pay. So those are my personal views. That's all I can really say. I hope you found that in some way enlightening in the way that I think about this. But I do think this is a dangerous territory we are now in. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Make sure you subscribe, please, and like the video. That's how YouTube shares these videos. And as always, thank you for watching.